Hey everybody, welcome to our Motoe Performance and Health MPH video series. I'm your host, David Pingree. We got Coach Robb Beams with us today, and we're going to address something that might be pissing some people off. Maybe some of those ladies post-baby, midlife crisis situation. How am I gaining weight even though I'm working out 4 to 5 times a week? How is it possible? Is it not just calories in, calories out?
Well, if it was that simple, it would be a lot more people that would be in better shape and a lot happier. It actually goes the exact opposite of what people think. When you look at how our body adapts and tries to handle stress, the only way that we can handle stress, no matter where it comes from in life, I like to refer to it as a quadrant of 4: personal, professional, financial, and athletic. No matter what we do on a daily basis, every single minute of your life is in one of those 4 categories. You can't get away from it. So when you look at the excessive amount of stress, for the listeners, I want you guys to draw a teeter-totter. Just draw a straight line, put a triangle in the middle of it. On one side, draw a box and just write the category stress. We know all 4 categories. On the other side of it, make a box the same size and subdivide it between food and sleep. Pretty simple. If you don't get enough food and sleep, stress of life is going to drive you, you're going to be out of balance. The reason why people are gaining weight is the body, when it gets excessively stressed, there's only one adrenal system in your body. If you want to get highly technical, you could go into the parasympathetic, the fight or flight, as our listeners are probably aware of. Well, if the body is always in a state of stress, work, relationships, financial, now you're trying to work out, you're trying to ride, what ends up happening is instead of this becoming a stress reducer, it adds more stress. Well, a negative byproduct of stress is cortisol. Cortisol is a fat magnet. For the listeners,
Cortisol is the worst. I mean,
it is.
It impairs your cognitive function.
Yeah. But we're dripping in it.
Yeah.
We're dripping in it because just to give the illustration, when you almost get in a car wreck, you notice how you get that flushed feeling. Well, that's cortisol dropping in. That's the fight or flight. Well, that cortisol is just in a slow little drip mode. You're getting an IV drip of cortisol, and as you get more and more stressed, the volume just keeps going up. Well, there was actually one doctor, he came up with a product called Cortistat, which the idea was take this in a stressful environment. It was going to essentially buffer stress. It was a pretty novel idea. Again, it didn't last very long, but it was a novel idea. What I want our listeners to understand is when you know that you've got a lot of stress going on, is that a good day to go try to moto down, balls to the wall? It might be a good day to go work skills and drills, work starts, act like you got Cubby out there and you're just doing a photo shoot.
Yeah, just have some fun.
Have some fun, right? Yeah. Not a day to go try to drop the hammer. Even if you have a big race coming up, that's where your consistency leading in is going to be way more beneficial than this one workout that you are hell-bent to think that this is going to be the one that's going to make me fast next weekend. But the reason why people are gaining weight when they're exercising is you've tipped into the body's getting too much stress. That's where the teeter-totter gets out of balance. You've added too much volume and or intensity and or frequency on top of your job, your relationship, and your finances. Well, the body's like, red line. It's just sitting there, red line pinned, and it's just dropping more and more cortisol. Now cortisol's up. It's a stimulant. Now you can't sleep because your motor's revving. Now you're pissed that you can't sleep, which then drives your heart rate up. Now you're pissed because you can't sleep and your body temperature goes up.
Blood pressure's skyrocketing.
Blood pressure's going up, right? And there's nobody there, and you're sitting there staring at the ceiling fan going, yeah, but Coach Robb said I got to get 8 hours of sleep. And so now you're
stressed out.
Now you're stressed out because Coach Robb's saying you got to get some sleep, and you got to get up tomorrow morning and race.
Yeah.
So that's the part that makes this a double-edged sword. Now, you kind of open the segment, particularly for females. When you're dealing with a child going through childbirth, think about the train wreck of childbirth. Not even talking about the hormones and the 9 months of feeling horrible, and then even for some of the listeners that maybe had a good pregnancy, it's pretty hard to dodge the bullet of giving birth. I mean, it is the closest thing to a train wreck. So out of all due respect, you've got that's going on. And so now they're really eager to get back to losing the weight. Well, the problem is they got a little infant that wants all their attention. Their partner wants all their attention. There's still food to cook. All of our life's responsibilities don't go away. The stress is just stacking on.
Yeah.
It's not going any less. Yeah. So this is why we see people gaining more and more weight. And especially for those of us who like to ride, hey, if I got beat on Sunday, do you think any of the listeners really think it's a cool idea to go, you know what, sleep in on Monday? You just got your ass beat. It's cool. Yeah. Sleep in on Monday. Yeah. That seems to make sense, right? Not us. We're like, I got beat on Sunday. I'm going to be in the gym at 5 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. tomorrow, because we have that mindset that if 2's good, 4's got to be twice as good. When actually what we may need to do is take our foot off the throttle, take our foot off the gas pedal, chop the throttle and say, you know what, let's eat a little more, let's sleep a little more, let's drop some of the high intensity training so we can actually absorb it.
Yeah.
Reduce stress.
I think it's worth noting, you can't, when you say eat more, that doesn't mean run to Taco Bell and get a chalupa.
True.
And a nacho.
True.
We're talking about good foods,
More
healthy
fruits,
foods.
more vegetables, more lean protein. As a general rule of thumb, just shop the perimeter of the store. If you're on the outskirts of the store, you're going to get 95% of what you need, because that's where you're going to find your meats and your delis and your legumes and everything that's, that's what I love about fruits and vegetables. They're high in water. We all need it. They're high in electrolytes. We lose it in our sweat. It's got all the vitamins and minerals, which are catalysts for energy, which most people don't realize. Your macronutrients, we've all heard, carbs, protein, and fat, they don't burn by themselves. If you and I were to go camping and we had these huge 12-inch logs, we can sit there with a lighter for an hour. It's not going to ignite.
Yeah.
Right? So we go and we get leaves and kindling and we get it going. We get that sparked and eventually that log burns. Well, that's what vitamins and minerals are. Where do they come from? Pretty simple, fruits and vegetables. Now, again, I'm paraphrasing and simplifying it, but that's what nutrition, that's as hard as nutrition needs to be. All of that's found in the perimeter. Yeah. It's never found in the middle of the store.
Nothing good found in the middle of the grocery store.
No. But again.
Except Twinkies.
Yeah, Twinkies in craft beer.
Yes.
Okay. But the challenge that you run into is, like I've said this on other podcasts, I get all my black beans from the middle of the store because I'm not going to soak my beans and do all that.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't want anybody to think that I live in a glass house. I'm going to get my black beans to do my black beans and rice with my brown rice from the middle of the store. But, ideally, that's why I say 95% of what you need.
Yeah.
It is always going to pass the test. If you don't have a sensitivity to any of those items, then everything in the perimeter is pretty much good to go.
Yeah.
There'll be a grocery store that'll sneak some junk in there. We always say if it's in a bar, a bag, a box, leave it. But then when we're running through the airport, I'll get a Cliff Bar.
Yeah. Or beef jerky. You can find those. Those are typically towards the outside, but those are good snacks.
And you bring up a good one. If you look up a beef jerky, people go, oh, it has a lot of sodium. Yeah. Well, what's the number one electrolyte we lose in our sweat? The majority of us is sodium. But then if you look at a lot of those products, they understand the importance of the sodium potassium pump without us even realizing it as retailers. They're trying to make that ratio a little bit better for better absorption. That's another whole science on food.
So I guess your final little last quote here for people.
You got to reduce stress.
Yeah, more sleep, less stress, more better foods.
Just better high quality fruits, vegetables, and protein. And when you start looking at how many calories are in those and you look at what your calorie burn rate is, you're going to be amazed at that calorie gap. And what does that mean for the listeners? If you're calorically restricted, you got more stress. If you're not hitting your hydration levels, more stress. And then we get out here and it's like somebody's holding onto our jersey when we're riding. Internal core temperature's up. Our reaction time is slow. What used to be a 2-minute lap time was comfortable. Now you're running 2:08s and you're like, what the heck? Well, if this thing's running low on radiator fluid, you can feel a difference in the motor.
Yeah.
You know it.
Right before it goes bang.
Exactly. And what do? This is what I said in the previous show. Problem is we can adapt. This doesn't. It goes bang and it's done. We go bang and we just get mad at somebody. We go road rage. We do something stupid, but we still keep functioning. That's what makes us so darn dangerous.
Yeah, we're incredibly resilient and not our own best friends at times. So
we're our own worst enemies in that area.
There's definitely a ton of resources for this. If you're somebody who's a little frustrated with weight loss, because you will feel 20 pounds. The way you'll feel on the motorcycle is crazy different. Crazy different. And there's a ton of resources on your website, CompleteRacingSolutions.com. There is menus in there. There's all kinds of exercises you can do, places to start. They can get a membership and really get connected with you and get some one-on-one. So I can't recommend that enough. Get over there to CompleteRacingSolutions.com and check that out. And thanks for watching. We'll be back with more MPH videos soon.